Hello and welcome, everyone. We are so excited to be here with you today. We're just giving a minute or two for folks to join. But thank you for being here. We are so excited to share with you our impact report from 2022. We love this community that we are building, so please help us know who is here and go ahead and share in the chat your name, the organization you're with, if relevant, where you're located, and how you know Team4Tech. We would love to see all of those connections in the chat. So please feel free to chime in, and we will just give folks a minute or two here. I'm seeing so many great friends here. Mark, welcome. Peter, so great to have you. Pragati, thanks for chiming in. Megan, so great to see you. Sharif, thanks for being here from Benetech. Wonderful to see all of you, this great community. Michelle, thank you for calling in from Belgium. I know for some on this call, it is quite late, and we appreciate most of all our friends in India, in Africa, where it is end of the day. I'm just getting started here in California. Great. I see our numbers climbing. For those who just joined, we're just giving a minute or two. Please go ahead and introduce yourself in the chat. It's so fun to see this great community we have of tech volunteers and corporate partners and nonprofit partners and donors and fellow travelers. So please chime in the chat and let us know where you're from. Great. Well, I think we should go ahead and get started. So welcome everyone. I am Julie Klugage. I'm the co-founder and executive director of Team4Tech. I'm based in the San Francisco Bay Area in California. And I am so thrilled to be here with you today to share stories of impact from 2022 and to let you hear from our amazing team and amazing partners. We have a great lineup here for you today. So without further ado, let me get into it. So Team4Tech, most of you know us, but there may be a few new folks, so let me just do a brief introduction. We are a nonprofit impact accelerator. Our mission is to bridge the digital equity gap in education, to create inclusion opportunities for under-resourced learners all around the world. This is in line with the UN Sustainable Development Goal 4.4, which is to increase the number of youth and adults with relevant skills for high quality employment. And how do we do this? The way we advance quality education is by providing capacity building and technology grants to proximate leaders, community-based nonprofit organizations who are already doing amazing work in education and have a vision for how the integration of technology can help them amplify and accelerate their impact. So we come alongside them, we partner with them with grants and consulting services so that we can help them improve learner outcomes. And I just want to say a word about the context. So why do we work in this space? Research shows that by the year 2030, nearly 1 billion youth, the majority of whom are located in low and middle income developing countries around the world, will not have the skills to participate in the global knowledge economy. These are technology skills, but also creative problem solving, critical thinking skills, entrepreneurship skills. They will not have the skills they need to access these high quality jobs. And if we do nothing, the digital equity gap is just increasing. COVID has shown that over the last 2 years, those without access to technology have fallen even further and further behind. By the year 2030, 90% of all jobs will have a digital component. So those without access to technology will be left behind. And we focus on education because research shows that education is the greatest lever for combating intergenerational poverty. Um, and research also shows that it's technology, but combined with scaffolded teacher training and usage plans. So it's not enough to just drop off technology. You need to provide a holistic range of services and training so that it's used in relevant ways to really build those skills that are necessary to access high quality jobs. So this is why we do the work that we do. Our theory of change is to partner with these community-based organizations, as I said, proximate leaders who are already doing great work in education, to bring in technology companies, skilled volunteers who have a desire to give back. I see so many of you on the call today, and you have done amazing work with us, and we are thrilled to be able to support you in doing these projects. And then our donors. Our donors are the ones who make it possible for us to provide annual $15,000 matching grants to our strategic nonprofit partners. And then they use those grants to purchase the technology that helps them improve learner outcomes. So by bringing all three of these segments together in a highly supported way, we are helping our nonprofit partners to build capacity and their learners to gain the skills for economic success. And then our goal is to help these nonprofit partners scale their work nationally and even outside of their country borders by demonstrating what works. And you're going to hear some of that today. What has been exciting actually during the pandemic is 6 of our nonprofit partners had solutions that scaled dramatically and that were adopted by their respective ministries of education, ministries of technology, by large global donors like UNICEF, and helped them scale dramatically. So that is ultimately our approach to achieving UN Sustainable Development Goal 4.4. How do we do this work? There are a few basic tenets that we believe in. So we want to develop long-term trusted partnerships with our nonprofit partners. We know that there are many stakeholders in education. Change in education is complex. It takes time. Again, it's not enough to just drop off a technology solution one time and expect that it's going to improve learner outcomes. So we partner with nonprofits for 3 to 5 years, sometimes even longer, helping them test and iterate solutions to find what works. We use a human-centered design approach to all of our work, where we seek to understand the context in which our partners are working, to understand their goals for improving teaching and learning, and figure out how we can support them in making that possible. We provide funding for technology solutions that our nonprofit partners choose. We are platform agnostic. We do not predefine a solution that they must use. We work with them to find the solutions that are most relevant for their context. And then we build teacher and staff capacity to improve learner outcomes and enable those nonprofit partners to catalyze systemic change. This is our solutions roadmap. So when we come alongside a nonprofit partner, these are the ways that we believe we can help. Starting in phase 1, we help build the foundation for technology integration. So vision and planning, starting to put in place basic technology infrastructure, policies, and helping teachers and staff feel confident and digitally literate in using technology. And then we move on to phase 2 to help identify relevant EdTech solutions that can be integrated into day-to-day teaching and learning to improve core learning outcomes like literacy and numeracy, to accelerate those outcomes. And then finally, phase 3, it usually looks like helping our nonprofit partners integrate project-based learning like coding, making, robotics, so that their learners can build creative problem solving, critical thinking skills that they're going to need to access high quality jobs. We customize this for each of our partners, but this is the basic roadmap. And how do we know if we're successful or not? We work with each of our nonprofit partners to choose success metrics in these 4 categories. So, are we able to improve learner engagement as measured by attendance, promotion rates, graduation rates, learner growth, learner outcomes, pass rates, assessment scores, digital portfolio quality, teacher and staff effectiveness, and then their own organizational sustainability and scale. So we ask each partner to choose the metrics that make sense for them. Again, we don't want to come in from the outside and dictate that you must achieve these metrics. We want to understand the goals that are important for each of our partners in these categories and help accelerate those outcomes by integrating technology and providing consulting services. And this is a big year for us. 2022 marked our 10th year. It's actually hard to believe, but we started operating in 2013. And since then, we have provided almost $20 million in technology grants and in-kind consulting services to over 50 nonprofit partners in more than 20 countries. And this has been made possible by the over 1,600 skilled technology and employee volunteers who have come and to participate in these capacity building projects and dedicated many, many hours to supporting our nonprofit partners. And ultimately, the metric we care most about, this has benefited over 130,000 learners, which has been our goal from the beginning. So it's so gratifying. And again, I just want to thank everyone on this call because none of this work would be made possible without this community here today. So with that, I am so excited to hand things off now to Lindsay Kincaid, our Chief Program Officer, to tell you more about our achievements together in 2022. Over to you, Lindsay.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Julie. Like she just said, I'm Lindsay Kincaid. I'm our Chief Program Officer for Team4Tech, located in Overland Park, Kansas. I lead our program team that comprises of amazing change makers in education. That includes program directors, regional hub coordinators, and our director of learning technology. And I'm really excited to share some of our biggest accomplishments in 2022 with all of you. So last year, Team4Tech delivered $570,000 in technology grants and $1,430,000 in pro bono services, powered by 395 employee volunteers to build capacity with 38 strategic nonprofit partners, ultimately to improve the quality of education for 17,000 under-resourced learners. If we had sound effects, we'd cue them now. Those are big numbers. It's very exciting. All of our pro bono projects are supported by skilled volunteers from our corporate sponsors. These Team4Tech fellows, as we call our volunteers, share their skills with our nonprofit partners, but they also benefit from the experience through Team4Tech's leadership curriculum and the facilitation of program directors that scaffold the experience for them. We measure the impact of our programs in empowering these volunteers and change makers, and you can see that 93% felt their Team4Tech project had a positive impact on their nonprofit partners. 88% reported Team4Tech was more effective than other leadership programs. 100% reported that their Team4Tech project made them feel more connected to colleagues, and 98% reported they were proud to work for their company. In just a second, we're going to play a short video for you. This was filmed on the Refugee campus in Nairobi, Kenya, and it really brings to life the collaboration with Team4Tech, Cadence Design Systems, and Refugee. I think this video captures the essence of our on-site project and showcases how our joint efforts accelerated sustainability and scale in Refugee's organization and programs.
Refugee is a holistic model that attempts to help refugee young women and girls rebuild their lives. And the idea is to take a young woman who may be starting from no security at all, no stability in her life, to find pathways to self-sufficiency.
We are giving the girls the wings to fly, to ensure that they are able to achieve their dreams that were deferred based on the war-torn countries they came from.
We are here in campus divided into two sub-projects. The first sub-project is developing an e-learning platform, and the second project is remodeling their current girls empowerment program to give more options for the girls to climb the ladder and learn new skills.
When you get here and you see faces, that just shakes you in a different way because you feel like you're really making something happen in real life.
Gave us more motivation to make it even better and for sure to finish it.
I loved that they listened to our ideas. Actually, they took time to ask each one of us what we thought.
We've gotten a lot of solutions and suggestions. Putting heads together from different perspectives of life, it gives you more, exposure. From there, you can make proper decisions.
Having a challenging environment and something that you're not used to really enhances your leadership skills and your decision-making capabilities.
Leadership skills are definitely getting developed, and particularly Team4Tech has really structured it in a very nice way. So you're not just developing those skills, you're developing them consciously.
Knowing that some of the things that we're doing right now could have such a long-term effect is really motivating to make sure that we're delivering our absolute best.
Ultimately, Caden's team will leave us with several options of how to move forward. What we hope will come from that is a model that can serve more young women and girls. More young women will come out of that new model being able to achieve self-sufficiency. The other Cadence team is working on our e-learning and digital platform that will ultimately help us scale our services. So we're going to have a platform that offers virtual vocational training, business education skills, and mental health services to urban refugee women that can't come to our campus every day. So hopefully it'll help us scale into the hundreds of thousands of women.
Well, the number one benefit is you get to help someone. Helping people makes you feel good. I get to see the world. I get to meet interesting people, gain new perspectives, learn about different cultures. And getting all those different perspectives really makes me a well-rounded person.
I think it's one of the best projects I've worked on in more than 20 plus years of career. Honestly, I feel that I have gained more than I have given. I definitely go back with that feeling.
I love that last bit, particularly when he says, I have gained more than I have given. I couldn't agree more. You may have caught little glimpses of me in a few of those clips. Being part of this project was definitely a highlight of my 2022 and really a transformative experience that I'm going to carry with me for the rest of my life. I do want to share with you a few, hang on, hearing something. I do want to share with you a few other stories about our partners. Our partnership with Flying Kites demonstrates the power of collaboration and the positive impact that technology can have on education. So Flying Kites is this amazing organization dedicated to providing educators in Kenya with a strong foundation in effective student-centered instruction. With the support of Team4Tech funding, Flying Kites installed an on-campus internet tower, significantly improving access for both the Flying Kites Academy and their teacher training center. And thanks to the dedication of volunteers from NetApp, Flying Kites successfully launched a pilot teacher training program benefiting 174 teachers across 9 schools, with a goal to reach 18,000 students by 2027. As a result of this program, teachers have increased their use of technology in the classroom by a remarkable 150%. Another partnership to highlight is the one with CDE, a nonprofit organization dedicated to empowering Indigenous women in rural Hidalgo, Mexico, to drive local, social, and economic change. A skilled team of volunteers from our corporate partner Viasat played a crucial role in installing functional satellite internet and Wi-Fi networks at CDE's community work hubs, ensuring reliable internet access for their staff and over 200 Indigenous women partners. This collaboration was not only enhanced tech connectivity, but it also opened up new opportunities for these women to access information, resources, support, and ultimately fostering a more significant impact on their communities. Those are just a few examples. I would like to turn it back to Julie to introduce today's featured speakers from two other amazing organizations.
Thank you so much, Lindsay. And yes, shout out to Mark from Viasat, who's also on the call with us, who enabled that project with C-Day. So good job, Mark. So yes, this is the most exciting part of our program here. I am so pleased to be able to spotlight two of our amazing nonprofit partners. I'm going to begin with Deepika Sharma from the Learning Links Foundation in India. Deepika, we're so grateful to you for being on late in your day. Really appreciate having you here, and we are just so grateful for our partnership with you. Let's start off by having you tell us more about your work and the mission of the Learning Links Foundation in addressing challenges in education in India.
Thank you, Julie. Very, very happy to be here and very proud to be associated with Team4Tech. Hello, everyone. I'm Deepika Sharma. I'm a partner at Learning Links Foundation, and that makes I handle multiple project operations, monitoring evaluations, stakeholder management, teams on ground, so on. Learning Links Foundation was founded in the year 2002 with the idea that every child should rise to her or his potential for their learning, and our vision is to foster that learning and inspire lifelong learning in all segments of the communities, whether it's inside schools, it's in the community itself, it's in higher education institutions, skill building, so on. Learning Links Foundation works with vulnerable learners in remote locations where access to learning resources is not always optimal. There are challenges we have in these communities, and the two challenges that are really, we are trying to battle them in every school that we work with, are lack of basic numeracy literacy, because many of our learners are first generation learners, and we run a whole host of STEM programs, and the girls not coming forward to become part of these STEM programs. So here are two solutions that parts of the programs that we've sort of taken solutions from Team4Tech to infuse them with technology and, you know, make it inspiring for our learners.
Perfect. So yes, we started working together in 2020, and since then, you know, Team4Tech has provided $40,000 in grants and almost $500,000 in in-kind consulting in support of your work. So tell us more. Why did you want to partner with Team4Tech, and what impact have you seen from the partnership?
So we thought the same way. In a way, we were both inspired by technology at Learning Links Foundation and Team4Tech. So it was a great handshake. 2020 was a momentous year. We all understood the value of technology more than ever, and especially in these rural communities in India. The schools went into lockdown for almost 2 years, and we've lost a lot of learning in children who were, as I said, first generation learning spots. And these schools and communities had no access, none at all. Some had phones, and that too, very few. So all your technology grants that we got, we started to buy technology, our tablets, and place them in communities. Communities started to take charge of these. Mothers came forward, and you know, the learning groups that were formed organically grew. And over the 2 years of the pandemic, by the time the schools reopened, we actually had a format to show to the world and to other funders of ours, other partners, that technology can be used and very effectively used to build basic foundational numeracy skills for children who actually don't have access to learning materials. And it is gender agnostic. Girls used it as much as boys. And so through our volunteer engagements, we had a very nice design workshop where we presented our problems of girls not coming forward for STEM programs, and the volunteers helped us design so many learning materials. They gave us a lot of ideas, and we were that much richer by these ideas and materials. And it was like making a storybook of STEM stories, where girls can just be sort of made to understand why STEM is for everyone. And we've taken that forward. In very, very hard times, this was the partnership that arrived at the right time. And currently, we have about 50,000 learners who are benefiting from all the technology that we have placed in the hands of the communities, some very, very difficult parts of the country.
That's amazing. And I think you mentioned to me, now that you're seeing the learning gaps in sort of the counterfactual situation versus your learners, you are seeing a significant difference. Can you say more about that?
Yes. So it is a national agenda right now that the government has taken up to close the learning gaps that children have in their foundational learning. And it's amazing what technology has been able to do, because they are sitting in a grade and they have gaps of grades previous to that grade. And nobody's being able to sort of bridge those gaps for them. Technology steps in just fine. And the way they move ahead, they are able to learn on their own, they are able to learn with their peers, they sit in groups, and it's engaging at the same time. Of course, we have our volunteers and we have our teams that sort of support these children. And these learners will learn in school, they go back home, they sit in their communities, parents have got involved. So it's wonderful to see what placing technology in these situations can do to learning.
Yeah, and there's one last piece I wanted to ask you about. We worked together to create an online teacher training platform as well. So can you talk about how rural teachers were able to access that training during the pandemic?
That's where we started. If you remember, Julie, we were building our technology platform because, again, working in these schools and wanting to make all our programs sustainable, we always work with teachers. We want to empower the teachers. We want to build their capacity. And it's not always possible to get all of them in a classroom or in a training room and to sort of, work with them over 3 or 4 or 5 days. We struggle with that because there are some of the schools are single teacher schools. And if they leave the school has to close down for 5 days or 6 days. Travel is not easy. Who's going to put the money on their travel, etc., etc. Lots of questions. So we decided technology is probably the way we can place technology in their hands, and we'll see how teachers adapt to technology. So the first project we did with Team4Tech was building a learning management system. We put in the content, and Team4Tech volunteers helped us build the technology side of it and upload the content. And a lot of our teachers used it during pandemic when it was needed the most. They are using it currently, and our teams now within the organization are using the platform for their own learning and relearning. And if they have a reference to go back to, if they have to get into some area of particular area of interest.
Well, thank you so much, Deepika. This is exactly what Team4Tech aspires to, by enabling teacher training, high quality resources available to your students via these tablets that you've implemented. Making sure that your 50,000 learners are not falling behind is, our greatest aspiration. So we thank you for your work, and we're just so grateful for your partnership.
Thank you, Julie. And this 50,000 will not remain 50,000 the next time we meet. This community is growing all the time. And the nice thing about tablets is you just take them from one to another and, it continues to roll on.
Well, thank you so much, Deepika. We're thrilled that you could be with us. And now I would like to move on to our next superstar partner, Patrick Munguti, who's the Director of Education and Technology with Kenya Connect. So welcome, Patrick. Please tell us a bit about the work of Kenya Connect.
Wow, thank you so much, Julie. I'm so grateful to be here today. My name, as you have mentioned, is Patrick Munguti. I am the Director of Education and Technology at Kenya Connect. As a non-profit organization, Kenya Connect works with 51 primary schools that are public and 12 secondary schools in the rural area of Wamunyu in Mwala sub-county of Machakos. We are serving a population of around 500 teachers and over 18,000 students. Our vision is actually an empowered community that will harness the benefits of education so that they can be able to drive sustainable development. And we have a mission to engage teachers and students and to empower them so that they can be able to succeed in the 21st century. And we do this by breaking down barriers to education, by improving the quality also of education through several programs that we are running, like the digital literacy program, whereby we teach teachers and students on digital literacy, on being able to, or teachers being able to integrate technology in teaching and learning. And we also have a literacy program that is a core in terms of bringing reading culture in our society, because actually being in the rural area, we find that our schools and children in our schools are so much left behind by their counterparts in the urban areas. And we have a library with both in-house and a mobile library, and the library with over 30,000 books. And we are taking these books to the students at the schools and to make sure that they improve in their literacy program. And we are very keen actually on also continuous teacher professional development, because we are aware that teachers are actually the vital link to an empowered society.
Yeah, fantastic. Great. So Kenya Connect, you came to us in 2022 to propose a partnership that was focused on building out a makerspace and starting to implement coding and robotics education for these 50 plus primary schools across the region, more than 18,000 students. So I'm going to invite you to tell us about that work. But first, we have a short video that actually shows the work. So let's roll the video and then we'll come back to Patrick to describe.
We see Team4Tech and Raspberry Pi Foundation as coming to support us to fulfill our mission, which is to break down barriers in education, especially in the field of technology.
So Kenya Connect had a program that had just started introducing computers in the classrooms and with their students, but they didn't know how to scale that. We came in at a point where we could amplify this work that they were doing by providing computers for their programs, as well as training for their staff and bringing in partners.
What is unique about being a Team4Tech partner is that it's not just about the grant funds, which are important, but it's really about the total partnership. Sometimes we need expertise, and that's been instrumental. And we were amazed that we were going to be connected with Raspberry Pi Foundation. That wealth of experience from a tech giant, to help us with our work.
So as a foundation, one of our new strategies was to get into Kenya and South Africa as one of our primary markets. We could not have done that without Team4Tech. And they have a great network of NGOs across the education sector, and I think they're really open in helping us to tap into that.
This partnership is very exciting because a makerspace or an edtech hub in such a community, a rural community, is unheard of.
Introducing technology in these communities allows them to travel beyond their borders and then just give them a chance at the modern era.
I've actually been meeting students who have never seen a computer, they've never used a keyboard, they don't even know how to use the mouse. And the moment I teach them to hold the mouse, maybe type, you can just see how their faces just beam. It gets to, wow, these students are done something that they feel proud of.
I think Can You Connect is particularly special because they're so well rooted within the community. You're speaking to people, you're talking to people who are saying they've been coming to Can You Connect, they regard it as their home, and it's not often that you find an NGO who's that well connected.
The goal is, how can we replicate this? How can we empower other communities through nonprofits already doing the work? How can we amplify what they're doing in Kenya and in other countries as well?
I just can't even imagine what we're going to see in the next 5 years. It's going to transform what we're able to do, but I think with that transformation, it's going to help other organizations too.
Amazing. So yes, Patrick, we've collaborated to train over 150 teachers on this coding curriculum from our external resource partner, Raspberry Pi Foundation, and they are reaching over 3,000 students. But tell us more. What has this work meant to you, and what impact have you seen?
Thank you so much, Julie. I want to say that our partnership with Team4Tech came at the right time. It's the time that we were trying to come up with a makerspace and an edit hub. We didn't know how to do exactly that. And when Team4Tech came and connected us with Raspberry Pi Foundation and also connected us with Adobe, we learned a lot, and volunteers that we are connected with, we were able to get new ideas on how to do the makerspace, on how to start this EdTech hub, and how to bring in teachers, how to train them. And I want to say that one of our objectives, or the objectives that we had in our minds when we got this, we got partnered with Team4Tech, was to establish a makerspace where kids would have a free space for them to come create, innovate, and also to establish an EdTech hub where kids can learn coding, can learn robotics, and these skills, which are quite necessary. And to mention that in our Kenyan curriculum, the new competence-based curriculum, teachers are supposed to be teaching coding skills, computer basics at an early age of even up to grade 4. And we checked out and found that our teachers in the science and technology curriculum, they were skipping these topics. They were not teaching. We wanted to know why. And we found out that apart from the lack of devices, we found that they were not having skills. And when this partnership came in, master trainers from Raspberry Pi came in October. They trained our staff, and also have some teachers as trainer of trainers. And from that, we've been able to roll out the training. We have been able to even go to schools and train students, and also have boot camps for both teachers and also for the students in our Learning Resource Center. I would also say that the grants that we got from Team4Tech and Raspberry Pi helped us also to get devices. We did purchase 120 Chromebooks that we carry to the schools with our truck. We go to a school, and each child has a Chromebook, and we teach them. And again, we also got 27 Raspberry Pi 400s and also Picos to train teachers more on coding skills using Scratch, and also more on also robotic kits. So this kind of, I would say, was a great transformation for us as Kenya Connect, and also for our community.
Yeah, it's been incredible actually to see Kenya Connect is becoming a leader in how to implement this new competency-based curriculum that the Kenyan Ministry of Education is requiring to teach coding to grade 4 and 5 learners. But most schools don't have the teacher training or the equipment to do it, and you are really, charting a path, showing how it can be done. So that is so exciting. And I just wonder, can you share with us a story of a learner who you have seen benefit from this work?
Yeah, I would say the impact that we have seen has actually been so great for both our teachers and our learners. And as I mentioned, that teachers did not have these skills to teach the competence-based curriculum. But currently, we have one of the teachers from a school called Chahani Primary School. Her name is Winnie. Winnie was part of the teachers who are trained by the Raspberry Pi Foundation trainers. And we have also been working with the school with the students to bring the Chromebooks to their school. And Winnie has taken over, like she has taken these skills next to now doing the classes herself. And we are so grateful. Actually, I'm so happy to see Winnie teaching coding to her grade 5 students, and also she's able to teach even computer basic word processing and spreadsheets. And that, when I see such kind of work being done by a teacher that we have trained, it gives me that morale and gives me that ability to think and want to train more of our teachers. And I have a story of a boy in grade 5 in a school called Nyani. I think you've seen the video of some students who are so happy. That school is called Nyani Primary School. And there was this boy called Wambua who could not read and write. And in the beginning, I was like, is there a problem with the boy, or what was happening with the boy? Then I did check with the teachers, and I found that he was a special child. And I took keen interest, and I wanted to see what can we do with Wambua. And one thing that I would say with Wambua is he learns by seeing pictures and all that. And when we started training on computer basics, Wambua just got it so fast, and he was able even to do. And fortunately, we have our Chromebooks that we are using. Most of them are touch screen. So Wambua could move things around, and he could touch. And before the end of 1 year, imagine Wambua was creating games using Scratch. And to me, I found that it's just like is a kind of a student who learns just differently. And maybe if teachers could always see, oh, what else can we do to some of our special children? I think that would be great.
I love that story of unlocking potential. That is what we are all about. So congratulations, Patrick, on all of your great work. We are thrilled to partner with Kenya Connect, and we are so excited to do more in the coming years. Thank you so much for being with us. Great. And so now we are going to move along to what is next, what's coming next. And I'm so pleased to introduce our board member and board secretary, Jamie Gardner, to tell you about our new strategic plan at Team4Tech. So Jamie, over to you. Let's see. Jamie, are you able to come on? Oh, there you are. Hi. Go ahead. I'm not getting your audio, Jamie, for some reason. Want to try one more time? If not, I can take it away and then we can bring you back later. Is it working? Okay, I'm going to keep us moving, Jamie, just for the sake of time, but chat me if you're able to chime in. 2022 was a huge year for us in approving a new strategic plan. We reached our original goal of benefiting 100,000 learners. We were having 10x demand of services from nonprofits asking for support that we could meet. And so we wanted to figure out a way to do things broader and deeper. And we approved a new strategic plan with our board saying that by the year 2027, we want to be serving 50 strategic partners in our venture portfolio. And we launched a new online community of practice where we can share our tools and resources with up to 800 community-based nonprofits. And we want to have people on the ground. We are establishing 3 permanent regional hubs, and we're so excited that we have 2 of them already up and running in Africa and South and Southeast Asia, and our Latin America hub is launching next month. This has all been made possible with generous support from the Patrick McGovern Foundation, and I see them on the call today, so we want to thank them as well. So let's hear more about it. I think we're going to hand it off to you, Jody Britton, our the director of our online community and director of learning technology. So take it away, Jody.
Yeah, absolutely. You guys, thank you so much for being here. It's awesome to see everyone. As Julie said, I'm Jody Britton. I'm the director of learning technologies at Team4Tech. I'm fairly new. Just arrived in June, but I'm so excited to share the story of our community today because it's becoming just a force to be reckoned with, and it's incredible to watch. We first launched our community as a test bed using Facebook groups and on our website on July 27th of 2022, about 9 months ago. We launched our more permanent home on the Mighty Networks platform. It's been a very hectic 9 months, but I cannot tell you how unique this space is as it's all coming together. As of this last Friday, we have more than 200 nonprofit organizations representing 46 countries. This space is home to nonprofit organizations that are cumulatively serving more than 19 million learners. We may be a tiny group, but we sure are mighty. We look at what our nonprofit leaders and members can achieve, and we know that this community has is packed with powerful players, leaders, and innovators from all over the world. We reached an important milestone last night that I want to make sure and mention. We have 900 members now. We're actually up to about 912 after this morning's event. But when we were designing this community, we really wanted to ground the work in our strategic plan. So every single thing that happens is tied back to student engagement, teacher effectiveness, and organizational capacity. We really want to think through, as we build out weekly content, monthly events, near monthly networking opportunities with our regional hub coordinators, how we can really create a community of nonprofit leaders focused on education and leveraging educational technology. We have more than 100 resources created right now. And we also have 4 certificate earning courses. We launched our Makerspace course today, and Patrick's story from Kenya Connect is a definite part of that work. Right now, we have over 114 people in our community are actively earning certificates from our courses. And I have to say, there's some cool things that are happening there. Chris, can you pop next? Thank you. We're really being very careful about curating this space, and we want to make sure that we're not replicating what other people are doing. Instead, we're really delivering a product and a solution that no one else has really achieved. We're really serving as the gatherers for ed tech enthusiasts from nonprofit sector who are leveraging technologies in really unique ways and reaching global learners. This year, we are among 14 global finalists for the Wharton QS Reimagine Education Award for the Community of Practice in the area of diversity, equity, and inclusion. I have to say that's pretty incredible. We showcased our work at South by Southwest, and we're preparing to showcase our work with the community and several of our partners at ISTE. We have 2 presentations, and we have our inaugural participation in the ISTE Global Playground. I'll be on stage for a bit, and we have 3 of our partners that are going to be kind of highlighting and showcasing their work to the audience of more than 18,000 global educators. As thinking about all the opportunity that we've had and kind of setting that aside, the thing that is really driving a lot of the excitement around this work is the data, because the data tells a story that has kind of been arguable. And to date, 90% of our responding community members are reporting that the community has increased access to new ideas, tools, and resources. In addition, and this is really cool, 98% have reported back that the community has improved its organizational capacity to serve learners directly. That's an incredible accomplishment, and I'm so proud of our team for building the resources and the space to make that happen. Right now, we're seeing our community members find new collaborators, new tools, new resources to use with their learners. And we really have a remarkable level of engagement. Everything is getting read multiple times. 94% of our folks are chatting with one another. In our network analysis that we've been running, we see really, really strong connections being made all over the world, all through this one little space. Chris, can you run to the next slide for me? Thanks. What's awesome about this is that, we've done all this work, but we've not done it alone. None of this is really possible without leveraging some pretty incredible partners that are top in their field to share, support, and engage with our community members. We have had more than 45 events and are seeing excellent results in terms of bringing carefully curated experiences to our partners. This morning's event had about 90 people there from 26 different countries, which was pretty cool to see. Our event, thinking about even last week, some of the events that we did, every single one is developing a new footprint in this community and a new way to connect. Every week, we have another opportunity to collaborate with community members. We're writing grants, we're supporting collaborations, we're watching in complete awe as our community members are uniquely collaborating, and we're really seeing the evidence of their capacity building in real time. To date, right now, we've had community members doing incredible work with their regional hubs. Kenya Connect and Nairobits, another one of our partners in Niagaki's hub, are creating a podcasting studio together. That kind of spun out of the community of practice. We've also been asked to collaborate on several grants around STEM, content generation, and EdTech resources. I think it's important to note that we're kind of actively seeking out opportunities to really fuel this fire. We've developed curation metrics in the last 6 months, and those are helping us drive quality and ensure that the materials that we're bringing to our community are relevant. Believe me when I say that this community is a very special place. We would love your help and participation in any way. I think a survey that Amy's going to share today asks if there's any partners or presenters or thought partners that you think we should be reaching out to, and I'd love your feedback on that. We've been lucky so far, and there's more work to do. I think one of the really secret sauces that we have is access to our regional hub partners. Niagaki and Gautam both share their perspective and help us keep grounded in the reality of the communities that we serve. And with that, I would love for Niagaki to kick it off, who's one of the coolest EdTech people in Africa that I've met. There you go.
Thank you very much, Jody, and thank you everyone for joining us today. As Jody mentioned, I am Niagaki Kisha. I work as Team4Tech's Africa Regional Hub Coordinator. I'm based in Nairobi in Kenya, though I'm currently dialing in from Malawi when I'm visiting one of our partners. We currently have 21 partners, nonprofit partners in our Africa Hub, working within all levels of schools. They're working with teachers and school leaders, as well as young adults on workforce development. So these nonprofit organizations are spread out in Africa within 9 countries, including Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, Rwanda, Malawi, South Africa, Ghana, Nigeria, and Liberia. As a regional hub coordinator, I like to see myself as sticky glue in enabling collaboration and co-design at a regional level. So engaging various stakeholders, including local governments, experts in the education and tech fields, and nonprofit organizations working directly within their communities. So this is so as to address challenges, identify opportunities, and design solutions together. I do this through visiting partners, like now in Malawi, and in the pictures on the screen right now, hosting online meetups, and participating in local and regional conferences, such as eLearning Africa, to present our work and connect with others in the field. So a good example of this collaboration, Jody has mentioned it already, is between 2 of our partners in Kenya. So Kenya Connect, who you've heard about here, initially wanted to learn more about podcasting, and Nairobits, who had just launched a podcast for its community, just seemed like the best possible person or partner to help them go through that. So Nairobits has since then shared recommendations on purchasing equipment, designing the podcast studio, and cost implications with Kenya Connect. And then from this initial engagement, the two organizations are now exploring integrating Nairobi's digital literacy program for workforce development in Kenya Connect's campus. So this would provide a pipeline for young adults in Wamunyu to learn employable digital skills. And for Nairobits, they now have a trusted partner in yet another county in Kenya, therefore expanding the reach of their program. So these partnerships and synergies are what our hubs strive to encourage. And I'll pass it on to yet another regional hub coordinator, Gautam, to tell you more about his hub.
All right, thank you so much, Niyagati. Hello all, good evening. This is Gautam from Chennai in India, and I work as a regional hub coordinator for the Asia region, and I work very closely with 10 of our nonprofit partners in the Asia region, out of which 6 of them are in India. So I've got the advantage of being close to 6 of the 10 organizations that we're working with. And the rest of the organizations, we have one of them in Vietnam, a couple of them in Cambodia, and one in Jordan. And as far as the organizations are concerned, we've got a good spectrum of organizations as far as scale versus depth is concerned. Some of our nonprofit partners are working at a scale owing to the strong collaboration with the government entities and with the public school system, whereas some of our nonprofit partners are working at a depth at a single geographical area, and they're expanded into multiple facets of their operations itself. As the regional hub coordinator, exciting times ahead of us because we have a very strong community of practice and we have more non-strategic partners trickling into the community. Like Jody had mentioned, every week we have more people interested in the field of education, people who are passionate about education joining the community of practice. And the goal is to create a really strong networking community that keeps learning at the center of everything that we do. And we strongly believe that the organizations can learn from one another because a best practice in one organization can very well be implemented in another organization, as long as the learners benefit at the end of the day. And not just organizations, we also have some individuals who are very passionate about the field of education joining in the community of practice. And in addition to handling the regional hub, I also make sure that we have a lot of presence in the Asia region as far as education is concerned. And I also get to attend really interesting events that talk about the field of education in terms of policy, in terms of edtech. And one such event was the Civil 20 event that happened recently in Nagpur. So this year, India is leading the presidency for the G20, and the Civil 20 working group are in the process of formulating some policies as a recommendation for G20 countries. And I was one of the delegates at the event, and it got me an opportunity to interact with a number of leaders in the education space in the Asia region. Another such event that I will be attending in the future, like I said, exciting times in the future, is the Asia Pacific meet for the Teach for All community that's happening in June. And I'm expecting to meet around 120 leaders in the ed space in the month of June at the conference in Kuala Lumpur. And again, keeping learning at the center of everything that we do in the regional hub in Asia. So yes, exciting times ahead. Thank you so much. Back to you, Julie.
Thank you so much, Gautam. And I know that we're coming to the end of our time here. But hopefully you can see with our new strategic plan, with the online community of practice, with our regional hubs and our amazing regional hub coordinators, Niyagaki and Gautam, we are expanding our reach and we want to serve a broader circle of community-based nonprofits who are looking to integrate education technology. So you can see now that we are in more than 45 countries through these 3 levels of support. And we invite you to join us. You have all been so supportive. You have enabled this work so far, and Please help us keep spreading the word. We're looking for more corporate sponsors of our pro bono volunteering projects. We need more donors. We need to raise $20 million over the next 5 years to make this strategic plan a reality. And we're always bringing in outside education resource partners, like you saw with the Raspberry Pi Foundation. So if you are interested in joining us, please check out our community of practice. Here's the QR code. It's just community.team4tech.org. It's 100% free. I saw a question in the chat, how do we find our strategic nonprofit partners for the pro bono consulting support? This is how we find them, through the community. So please join us there and you will be the first to learn about it. And with that, I would love to hear if there are any questions in our last minute or two. Anything particular that inspired you today? You can always reach out to us. Amy at team4tech.org is your best first point of contact. Please download our impact report, read more about these stories, and allow me to conclude by just thanking all of you, our nonprofit partners, our donors, our corporate sponsors, and our volunteers and our staff. All of you who are here today are making this work possible to bridge the digital equity gap in education. Thank you for joining us, and we look forward to doing more with you in the years to come.